We're at Pickwick Lake, gearing up for a competition that's sure to go down in the record books between these friends.
You know, this competition goes way back.
Wade and Jeff and I have always competed in golf or fishing or whatever we're doing.
It doesn't really matter what it is. I think if a snail was crawling across the deal, Jeff would say he's gonna get here that fast, Clark would say he's gonna get there, and I'm gonna have a totally different opinion just because I gotta have a different opinion. So it's always fun when we get together and put point values on this or that or another, and sometimes we'll gamble a little bit, most times it's just pure manly bragging rights.
So here's the deal. We got a little derby today. Michael and I, and we all got a film against Wade and Jeff.
You reckon he's talking about us right about now? I guarantee you he's talking trash.
Ain't no doubt.
Right now. He's just yap, 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 like a little chihuahua.
We're going to the tail race. The cool thing about the tail race is there's all kinds of fish. There are all kinds of species. Some we don't even hardly know what they are. We're gonna go catch a bunch of fish.
You know them dogs when the salesman knock on the door and they start yapping? I guarantee you that's what he sounds like right now.
We got a scoring system, 1 for any fish, 2 for a largemouth, 20 points for big fish, 10 points for big largemouth.
Little Taco Bell dog. Yep, 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 yep.
It's gonna be fun. Let's go do it.
You know, I've asked a lot of people about tail race fishing, and I've done, you know, the Google and YouTube searches, and I've tried to learn a lot on my own now. And to me, it's all about finding that calmer water, that seam, that ambush point that's out there where that current's moving and those fish are there. And it just seems like to me, every time I'm up on one of these tail races, everything's alive. And so when we get to fish places like this and do things like this, the competition drives you to really focus on it, but it also allows you to open up new ways to catch fish. And man, we just caught everything.
The game is on, and fish are being caught left and right. It doesn't take long before the boats start encroaching on each other's space.
I mean, you seen that's right where we were sitting a while ago.
You know I wouldn't do that to you.
Who can play that game? You know, here's the deal. Wade had really figured these fish out and how to catch them, and we were catching them pretty good. Obviously, we wasn't catching them as good as we could because Clark, he poached us. I mean, plain and simple. Obviously, we had it first. Clark come in and poached us, and we had to swap. Wade had to get on the camera. So while we were in the process of swapping out, somebody just slid in here and, I mean, poached us in a big time way. But that's all right. We returned the favor. If Clark would have been catching them and I would have been down the river, I would have done the exact same thing as him. I would have tried to push him out of the way if I would have had to. So he really didn't violate any rule on this, but in my mind, I just don't think he should have done it to us, because I think we should have been catching them better.
We were getting whooped at the beginning, but right now, we're giving them a pretty solid beat down. They've been sassing us all morning for not being ready, and truth is, we were just making sure we had all the right baits on. You gotta be prepared.
In a competition where anything and everything goes, Jeff puts a plan of attack into action and gets resourceful as Clark and Michael gain ground on him and Wade.
At that time, Wade had got on the camera and I was fishing by myself against them two, and they were putting it on me pretty good. So I can't have that. I mean, I got to get back in there.
I think Jeff kind of took advantage of the fact that I'm the green one in this group. And I noticed Jeff just kind of inching up on me to where I can't make my cast anymore. But I figure I'm just gonna keep bombing them out there and whatever happens, happens.
Michael, being the rookie that he is, he threw over and hung my line. He didn't know what was gonna happen. Clark knew what was gonna happen.
Jeff reels Michael's crankbait in.
And he's sitting there just kind of messing around with it for a minute, and I figure, I'm not gonna wait on this. I pick up another rod and I start chunking.
Well, I think that was cheating to start with, because there's multiple rods in the water. So I just cut his crankbait off, because I needed that crankbait, because they were catching them better than I was.
He took our lure halfway through. That's the only reason they ended up catching the last 5 fish they caught. They still hadn't given it back.
I would do it. I mean, it's the exact thing I would do. I mean, seriously, this is competition. So he cuts it off, we tie a different one on, they got the same bait now. Pretty brilliant.
You know, ethics-wise on this, we wouldn't fish this type of a manner and talk this much trash if it was a legitimate tournament. We wouldn't be, you know, cutting each other's lines or all that. It's just part of our friendship and group, and everybody has a group of guys and people like that they travel with, and you know, it's just kind of what we do when we get together. It's not what we would advocate out there. You know, we want everybody to, you know, be respectful about everybody else out on the water. But in this type of a deal, it's every team for itself. If you cast over my line, I might crush your crankbait. If you throw in front of you and you're catching them, we're gonna cut your bait off because we want every advantage we can when it's among friends.
You know, one thing in a competition is you always want to be prepared. Keep going that way.
Golly.
I know it's a big drum. Oh,
Biggin?
yeah.
You want the net? I got a net.
Let's see how big he is. I just got a decent look at him. Not a real good one. Oh yeah.
Get the net?
Yeah. Now Clark, he kind of looked at this as cheap, but I look at it like we were prepared more than he was, because when I hooked that big drum, Wade reaches down and just pulls out a big old net. And I'm thinking, you can't beat this. Clark don't have a net, but we did. That's just being more prepared.
That's like
You normally don't get excited about catching drum, but when we made drum count on the competition, I'm kind of excited about catching. We're looking at him, we put him on the scales, and we're thinking, this may do it. This is a 20-point bonus. It's like catch 20 fish.
I bet that's a 10-pounder. Bet he's 8.5.
Wow, not as big as I thought.
How big?
6'3".
That's good enough.
Go. Hey, from where they're at though, he looked. See how far they are from us?
He looked
I mean, from here he probably looked like he was 14, so we'll just round it up. Looking back at Clark, you know, you see that old face getting a little bit longer and longer and longer, because he kind of knew, yes, we're going to have to catch one bigger, because we probably can't catch 20 of them to make up for that one fish.
You know, Wade?
No. He's smaller than yours, don't you think?
He's chunky. But mine was 3.8.
Yeah, he ain't that big.
Okay.
Now the guys keep battling it out for a few more hours. By the end of the day, Clark and Michael reeled in more fish than Wade and Jeff. But after that sweet catch by Jeff, was it enough to hold on to their lead?
You know, the reality of it is there has to be a winner, and there has to be a guy in second place.
They beat us by 3 points.
We are the champions. Wade Middleton, Jeff Reynolds, world champion, Pickwick Tailrace.
I was like, gosh, I mean, maybe we ought to go again. And Jeff's like, I think we're good. We don't need to fish any longer. It's good, because he won.
So this trip was something that, you know, we really don't get to do anything like this very often. Me and Jeff are usually the camera guys. So coming out to Pickwick and fishing something different and doing the tail race, that was just an awesome opportunity, and it was a lot of fun.
This also shows you can just go out and go fishing on a place like this. You know, be safe, study the water, life jackets, kill switches, all that we preach, but you can go out and wet a line here and catch fish. And at the end of the day, that takes you back to the beginning of your fishing careers, the beginning of whatever. It's just simply about getting bites. And when you get a bite, you resort back to that little giggling kid and you get to turn around and go, caught one, you didn't.